Welcome to the Central Iowa Sports Network's live coverage of the Waukee Girls Track and Field Invitational from Waukee Stadium in Waukee. Live coverage of this meet is brought to you by the Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company and Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Now, let's go trackside with Michael J. on CISN.TV.
And the varsity 3,000 meter run is underway, scheduled for a field of 18. Pella, 13th in the state cross-country meet, a fast cross-country state champion, is in the field. Rorda will be taking her talents to UNI next year. Cassidy Christopher of Cedar Falls, 16th in 4A cross-country, also in this field. With Helen Gould of West Des Moines Valley at 11th in the 4A state cross-country meet. The athletes gaining position here on the front stretch. This is the varsity girls 3,000. And Lydia Hill of Ankeny, Tess Rorda of Pella, Clara Toot of Johnston, all up there in the front here in the early going. We'll follow this with the JV 3000 and then move on to the 4x800 relays. Lydia Hill of Ankeny is our leader as this field moves down the backstretch. Clara Toot of Johnston is the leader. Toot of Johnston, Rorda of Pella. Cassidy Christopher of Cedar Falls. Lydia Hill of Ankeny. Clara Toot of Johnston leading this field. They make their way to the backstretch once again. Clara Toot of Johnston, Tess Rorda of Pella lead that lead pack of 4 here in the varsity girls 3000. Toot of Johnston, followed by Rorda, Cassidy Christopher, Ellen Gould. This is the Varsity Girls 3000, all of our JV girls. Should be getting ready. We'll be lining you up on the back stretch as soon as this race is over. And our lead group running single file, no changes. Toot continues to run out front. Toot and Rorda. Christopher and Gould. Out in front is Clara Toot of Johnston, Rorda of Pella, Christopher of Cedar Falls, and Ash of Valley. And Clara Toot of Johnston's the leader. Tess Rorda of Pella running second. Then it's Anna Hertz of Cedar Falls and Emily Ash of Valley. And the leaders have moved to the backstretch. Clara Toot of Johnston and Tess Rorda of Pella, putting some distance on the rest of the field at this point. It's Toot and Rorda, followed by Hertz of Cedar Falls, Ash of Valley, and Ashley Rockhold of Indianola. And here are your leaders here on the front stretch, Toot and Rorda. Clara Toot of Johnston, Tess Rorda of Pella. And Clara Toot of Johnston, takes this lead to the backstretch. Tess Rorda of Pella still running second. And here's your leader on the front stretch, Clara Toot. And to the backstretch goes Clara Toot of Johnson and Tess Rorda of Pella. We're on the bell lap in this 3,000. JV 3K will be coming up next. Clara Toot of Johnson and Tess Rorda. And Toot holding on for the win, 11:03.60. Rorda, the runner-up, 11:03.87. So 11:03.60 for Clara Toot. Varsity 4x8. Pella opens up with Phelps Valley with Skinner. Indianola will be leading off with Jaden Forbes. Annie Balk on the lead leg for Norwalk. Cedar Falls with Caroline Ross. Maggie Laird will lead off for Waukee. She was on the quartet that finished 4th at Drake last year and 2nd at the state meet. Ankeny Centennial with Peters. Johnston opens up with Jesse Hovey. Boone with Sophie Kipp. Ames will lead off with Forney. Ames was 3rd at Drake last year and 6th at the state meet in this event. Roosevelt leads off with Buchanan. Ankeny with McKenna Dre. Varsity 4x8. And this is our lead leg on this 4x8. Waukee opens it up with Laird. Des Moines Roosevelt with Buchanan. Out in front with Peyton Phelps. Phelps leading off for Pella. They're out in front here. They're one of the top teams in 3A. And Johnston with Josie Hovey. Hovey was 14th in the state cross-country meet, and she has taken Johnston to the lead. Johnston and Pella. And Johnston. They'll be your leader as they come into the front stretch. Pella running 2nd. Cedar Falls getting a good opener here from Carolyn Ross. And Cedar Falls to the lead. Cedar Falls and Johnston. Pella and Indianola. Waukee. And Cedar Falls will be our leader at the first exchange. And they'll run Meg Schmitz on the second leg. Cedar Falls. Johnston has Laughlin running their second leg. Indianola with Bailey Blake and Waukee running Jessica Caraway. That is Cedar Falls out in front. Cedar Falls has been under 9:55 this year. Cedar Falls in quite a battle for 2nd behind them. And Cedar Falls leading the field. Schmitz running this second leg for the Tigers. Indianola, Johnston, and Waukee tightly bunched that battle for 2nd place. Indianola with Bailey Blake. Waukee running Caraway, and Johnston in 4th with Laughlin. And Cedar Falls takes the lead to the backstretch. Waukee and Indianola in a battle for 2nd. Johnston now getting back into the mix. And the Cedar Falls out in front. The JV 4x8 will be next. All shuttle hurdle relay teams should all be checked in. Cedar Falls continuing to hold on to that lead. Johnston, Waukee, Indianola in a battle for 2nd. We're coming to our second exchange in the third leg on this 4x8. Indianola and Waukee running very well in that battle for 2nd. Cedar Falls is out in front. Cedar Falls will run Paige Kalali on the third leg. Indianola with the pass. They're running Caitlin Schultz on this leg and Waukee with Sydney Schaefer. And Cedar Falls takes this field down the backstretch, the third leg of the varsity 4x8. And Cedar Falls and Waukee, followed by Indianola and Johnston. Ankeny Centennial. They're fourth now, running Ashley Aarons on this leg. Cedar Falls holding on to that lead. Paige Kowali running this third leg. Waukee getting a good carry here from Sydney Schaefer. Indianola in third with Caitlin Schultz. And the race up front, Cedar Falls and Waukee. All by Indianola and Johnston. And Waukee to the lead. Schaefer puts Waukee out front, Cedar Falls running second. Waukee the leader, 200 to go on this third leg. They'll be anchoring Miranda Boyle. And Indianola now has moved into second. Waukee. Indianola getting a good carry from Caitlin Schultz. It's Waukee and Indianola. Cedar Falls and Johnston. And we're going to the anchor. Waukee will have Boyle running the fourth leg. Indianola will counter with Maddie Mealy. Cedar Falls with Mackenzie Michael on their anchor leg. And Johnston coming back with Jessica McKee, the state runner-up in cross country this fall. Waukee out in front with Boyle. And it's Cedar Falls, Johnston, and Indianola. And your leader at the scoreboard is Waukee with Miranda Boyle. Cedar Falls with Mackenzie Michael. Johnston with Jessica McKee. And 400 meters to go. Waukee with the lead. Cedar Falls getting an outstanding carry from Mackenzie Michael. And Cedar Falls to the lead. Michael puts the Tigers in front with 200 to go. Ankeny Centennial getting a good carry from Emma Gordon. They're making up ground on the backstretch. And Cedar Falls and Waukee. Followed by Johnston, Indianola, and Centennial. And here's your leader on the front stretch, Cedar Falls, with Mackenzie Michael. Cedar Falls, followed by Waukee, followed by Johnston, and Cedar Falls. 9:48.19 for Cedar Falls, and that puts them number 4 in 4A. 9:48.19 for Cedar Falls. Waukee ran 9:52.02, and that puts them at number 5 in Class 4A. They have the fastest time at 9:42, so they have the first and fifth fastest times right now in Class 4A. Cedar Falls 9:48.19, moving them to number 4. That's Johnston in 1. Leading off with Ellie Rocky, Norwalk with Gilchrist, and Marshalltown with Daniel. The first of 3 sections here in the Varsity Shuttle Hurdle Relay. Johnston, Norwalk, and Marshalltown. It is Johnston with Van Rockel, Norwalk with Jeldon, and Himes right in this leg for Marshalltown. Johnston, Norwalk, and Marshalltown. We go to the third leg. Johnston, Norwalk with Abby Bunch. Norwalk battling back. It's Norwalk and Johnston, followed by Marshalltown. It's Johnston with Abu Azaf. And Johnston now with Kara Crone on the anchor. It's Johnston, followed by Norwalk and Marshalltown. First of 3 sections here in the Shuttle Hurdle Relay, and Johnston is your winner. (1:16.48) for Johnston, so that becomes the time to beat. 1:16.48. In section 2, running in 1 and 2, Drake Relays qualifier from a year ago. They finished 3rd in Class 4A. It is Ames. In 3 and 4, the 3A runner-up a year ago, Boone. In 5 and 6, it will be Valley. Indianola will run in 7 and 8. And section number 2 is underway. Ames on the inside with Bus. Danner leading off with Boone. She was on that quartet that finished 2nd in 3A a year ago. Valley with Lewis. Burrows on the lead leg for Indianola. It's Valley and Indianola. And Valley with Cassie Yardley. Goebel running for Indianola. Ames battling back with Barnes. And it's Valley out in front. Into the third leg. Valley with Megan Nelson. Ames on the inside with Jules Buss. Boone is battling back with Jada Wyrick. She was on that runner-up team at state last year as well. It's Valley. Indianola with Thomas. They'll run Pollock on the anchor. It's Valley and Indianola, followed by Boone and Ames. Ames is running a cruise attack, and she is moving the little Cyclones up there on the inside. That is Valley in 5 and 6. And it's Valley. 1:10.15 for Valley, so there's your new leading time. 1:10.15. So 1:10.15 is the time to beat as we go to this third and final section. Outstanding field here for section 3. Ankeny will run in 1 and 2. In lanes 3 and 4, they have the overall state leading time at 1:03.47. They were 4th at Drake last year. The runner-up in 4A, it is Waukee. Pella, a Drake Relays qualifier a year ago. The 3A state champion last year. The 3A leader coming into this weekend runs in 5 and 6. Cedar Falls will run in 7 and 8. And this final section is underway. Doherty on the lead leg for Ankeny. Sydney Winger opening it up for Waukee, and she takes him right out to the early lead. Kiki Pingle leading off for Pella. She was on that state championship quartet a year ago. Cedar Falls with Lily Becker. It is Waukee now with Mary Gray, the outstanding 400-meter hurdler. She'll be going to Central next year. It is Waukee. Pella with Emily Holterhouse. And Waukee at the exchange. Waukee running Lauren Nelson. She'll be at the University of Central Missouri next fall. And Nelson running very well for Waukee. They'll be anchoring Hannah Schau. It is Waukee with Schau, the UNI recruit. Pella got an outstanding leg there from Thorson. Kelsey Thorson, they're anchoring Emma Thorson. But it's Waukee out in front, followed by Pella, Ankeny, and Cedar Falls. And it is Waukee. They came in number 1 in the state at 1:03.47, and they've just run 1:02.96. There's your state leader with a time improvement to 1:02.96, and that is a new meet record for Waukee, 1:02.96. And this is the first of 3 sections in the Varsity 100. Raylan Smith of Cedar Falls got out well in lane 1. Babcock of Centennial in 2. Raylan Smith of Cedar Falls, Babcock of Centennial. $13.92, the winning time for Smith, 13.92. So that's our time to beat as we go to section 2. And it does appear in the second section we have Terrell Hagener of Indianola in 1, Christina Jackson of Johnson in 2, Audrey Ronick of Valley of West Des Moines in 3, Kate Bannister of Waukee in 5, Victoria Key of Johnston in 6, Ellie Flaherty of Indianola in 7, Trinity Jones of Ames in lane 8. Section number 2. And section number 2 is underway. And out well is Kate Bannister of Waukee in lane 5. Bannister of Waukee, Jackson of Johnston in lane 2. And it was Bannister in 13:35. 13:35 for Bannister. That is our time to beat as we go to the third and final varsity section here in the 100. Betsy Miller of Pella in 1. Peyton Doherty, a 4A qualifier a year ago for Ankeny in 2. Jasmine Rumley of Ankeny in 3. In lane 4, last year's 5th place finisher in the state meet in Class 3A, Pella's Emily Voss. In lane 5, it's Tori Hall of Roosevelt, Katie Sidoris of Centennial in 6, Taryn Rodman of Norwalk in 7, Emma Shosau of Waukee in 8. And here's the third and final section. Rumley of Ankeny is out well, and Voss, the All-Stater from Pella. Rumley of Ankeny, Voss of Pella. And Emily Voss, there's your champion for 2017, 12:73. Rumley ran 12:84. 12:73 for Voss of Pella. And that 12:73 for Emily Voss puts her at number 4 in Class 3A. Well, Pella now with number 1 in 3A with Pingle, and Voss now coming in at number 4. In our first of 2 sections, varsity, we have Norwalk, Ankeny, Boone, and Valley. And this distance medley will be varsity only. 2 sections, Norwalk, Ankeny, Boone, and Valley. 200, 200, 400, 800. And we go to the 400 leg here on this distance medley. Boone out in front, running Trinity Mitchell on this leg. Valley with Hall, and Norwalk with Heverlow. Trinity Mitchell on this 400 leg for Boone. They'll be anchoring Madeline Santee. It is Boone, followed by Valley and Norwalk. It is Boone and Valley and Norwalk. And the 800-meter carry here on this distance medley, Boone with Madeline Santee, Valley with Haley Losh, adding bulk on the anchor for Norwalk. And Boone out in front. This is the first of two sections. We're running varsity only here on the distance medley. One of the events here for the High V Cup. 7 varsity relays. These teams garner points, chasing the High V Relay Championship, sponsored by High V. And 1 lap remains, the final lap here in this distance medley. This first section, Boone is out in front, Valley running second, Norwalk in third. And here's your leader in section 1. It is Boone. With Madeline Santee on the anchor of their distance medley. Boone being followed by Valley and Norwalk here in the first section. And now we go to the final section here in the varsity distance medley. 4A qualifier from a year ago. Johnston will be in lane 1, leading off with Ellie Rocky. Des Moines Roosevelt in 2, opening up with Bailey Irvin. In lane 3, it is Ames. They were 5th in 4A a year ago. Bianca Sorrentino will lead off for the Little Cyclones. Waukee, they were the runner-up in 4A a year ago. They have run the fastest time in the state this year at 4:19.87. Waukee is in 4. Sam Barnes will run the lead leg. In lane 5, a 4A qualifier from a year ago, the Tigers of Cedar Falls with Morgan Starrett on their lead leg. In 6, it's Ankeny Centennial, the 4A champion, leading off with Brooklyn Snyder. In lane 7, it's Pella. Gomont will lead off. They were 5th in 3A last year. Ankeny will start in lane 8, and they'll lead off with Naomi Cassidy. Section 2, varsity distance medley. And this first 200-meter leg is off. Section number 2, Johnston leading off with Rocky. Roosevelt with Irvin, Ames with Sorrentino. That's Barnes on the lead leg for Waukee. Cedar Falls with Sterrett, Snyder for Centennial, Gomont for Pella. Ankeny led off with Cassidy. And we go to the first exchange, Ankeny Centennial with Claire Wubin on this leg. Ankeny Centennial. It is Centennial and Cedar Falls. Cedar Falls with Long Necker. Cedar Falls and Centennial. Pella got a good carry from Rundle, and they're in third right now. Ankeny now running Elise Hall on this leg. That's Cedar Falls with Sydney Davis on the 400. Centennial with Peyton Arnold. Waukee with John J. Peters on their 400 carry. These quarter milers are in their lanes till they got to the orange cones. Now they're cutting down to the rail. Cedar Falls with Sydney Davis. Cedar Falls, Waukee, Ankeny Centennial. And the Tigers here on the front stretch leading the field. Cedar Falls and Waukee, Ankeny Centennial and Pella. Cedar Falls will be anchoring Paige Kowali. And Cedar Falls with the stick. Waukee, they'll have Lily Campbell on the anchor. Centennial with Ashley Ahrens. Pella will counter these 4A schools with Caroline McMartin. Cedar Falls out in front, the 800 anchor carry. They have Kowali. And Waukee making up ground with Lily Campbell. And it is Cedar Falls and Waukee. Campbell carrying the stick for Waukee. She comes in ranked number 5 in Class 4A in the 800. It's Cedar Falls and Waukee. It is Waukee and Pella, or Waukee and Cedar Falls rather. Pella in third. Ames now moving up. And it's Ankeny Centennial and Ankeny, Johnston and Roosevelt. Waukee and Cedar Falls. Ames now into third, running Caitlin Moore on the anchor. Pella in fourth with McMartin. Less than 200 to go for the leaders, and it is Waukee. It is Waukee, followed by Cedar Falls. And Waukee, Cedar Falls, Ames and Pella here on the front stretch. Waukee, Cedar Falls, Pella and Ames together, and Centennial. First section. Peyton Grant of Norwalk, Sam Van Amberg of Norwalk, Maggie Muller of Boone, Tiffany Braun of Boone. And the open 400 here in the first of three sections, varsity only. Peyton Grant of Norwalk, Sam Van Amberg of Norwalk, Maggie Muller of Boone, Tiffany Braun of Boone. Tiffany Braun of Boone, Sam Van Amberg of Norwalk, and here's your field in this first of three sections. Sam Van Amberg of Norwalk, Maggie Muller of Boone, Tiffany Braun of Boone, Peyton Grant of Norwalk. That was Tiffany Braun of Boone in that first section. In the long jump, varsity long jump, our top three were Olivia Peterson of Ames, 16.1.5. Jasmine Rumley of Ankeny was second, 16.5 1/4. And your winner in the long jump varsity division, Peyton Malik of Pella, 16.10 1/4. Now we go to section number 2. Scheduled to have Molly Wright of Valley in 2s, Sydney Windling of Ankeny in 3, Melanie Rasmussen of Ankeny in 4, Bailey Koss of Indianola in 5, Faith Skinner of Valley in 6. In the JV long jump, Anna Kiplinger of Waukee was third, Julia Benson of Waukee was second, and the JV long jump champion, Sydney Windling of Ankeny, 16 feet 1/2 inch. This is section number 2 of the 400. Wright of Valley, Windling of Ankeny, Rasmussen of Ankeny, Cass of Indianola. Running 3 sections here, varsity only. Melanie Rasmussen of Ankeny and Sydney Windling of Ankeny. Pass of Indianola, right of Valley. Ankeny teammates battling up front. Windling and Rasmussen. Windling ran 105.31, so that's the time to beat. Third and final section here calls for Jenna Murphy of Pella in 1. Museo Solo of Roosevelt in 2. Monica Knopik of Waukee in 3. Oriana Kimbrough of Cedar Falls in 4. Katie Gretkin of Waukee in 5. Kendall Need of Johnston in 6. Catherine Levy of Roosevelt in 7. Caitlin Schultz of Indianola in lane 8. Final section of the 400. And the third and final section, the time to beat is 105.31. And this field moving to the backstretch. Kimbrough of Cedar Falls is our leader. Oriana Kimbrough of Cedar Falls leads the field here as they make their way to the scoreboard. Kimbrough of Cedar Falls. Kendall Need of Johnston. Kimbrough and Need. Knopik of Waukee. Oriana Kimbrough in lane 4. 65.31 is the time to beat. And it is Kimbrough. 62.04 for the win. Kimbrough the winner, 62.04. Next up will be the 4x200. 2 sections for the varsity, 2 sections for JV. Cedar Falls will be in 3, Marshalltown in 4, Ames will be in 5, Johnston in 6. First of 2 sections, varsity 4x2. Cedar Falls is in 3, Marshalltown in 4, Ames in 5, Johnston in 6. And the varsity 4x200 is underway. First of 2 sections, Cedar Falls with Sabrina Listokow. Marshalltown opening up with Gardner. Trinity Jones on the lead leg for Ames, and Johnston opens up with Clofane. 2 sections for varsity, 2 for JV in the 4x200. And this is Johnston. Kamienski running the second leg for Johnston. Ames with Hegelheimer. It is Johnston and Ames. Cedar Falls and Marshalltown. Johnston will be the first at the exchange as we go to the third leg on this 4x200. Ames has made the pass. They're running Lipsy. That is Johnston with Jaden Studer. Johnston and Ames. Cedar Falls with Golden Smith. They'll be anchoring Sterrett, and that is Johnston. That'll be the first of the exchange as we go to the anchor. Johnston with Josie Huffy. Ames with Rosita Lowe. And that's Cedar Falls with Morgan Sterrett, and they're making up some ground. Marshalltown running fourth. They have Chatterton on the anchor. Johnston, Ames, and Cedar Falls here on the front stretch. Johnston, Ames, and Cedar Falls. Followed by Marshalltown. And Johnston runs 1:51.95, so that becomes the time to beat. 1:51.95. And we get ready to go now to section number 2. Norwalk should be in 1, Boone in 2, Roosevelt in 3, Waukee in 4, Pella in 5, Valley in 6, Indianola in 7, Ankeny in lane 8. Waukee was third at Drake last year. They come in ranked number 2 at 4A and number 3 in the state. They've run 1:46.38. Pella was 4th at 3A at last year's state meet. They come in ranked 4th in 3A. Roosevelt was 6th at Drake last year. They have 2 members of that quartet running here tonight. Section number 2, time to beat 1:51.95. Norwalk in 1, Boone in 2, Roosevelt in 3, Waukee is in 4, Pella in 5, Valley in 6, Indianola 7, Ankeny in lane 8. Are we ready at the exchange zone? We are ready, Mr. Starter. Quiet for the start, please. We use a very long stagger on this 4x200. Quiet for the start, please. And this 4x2, Vanderholt leading off for Norwalk, Castle leading off for Boone. They'll be anchoring Diana Slight. Roosevelt with Corey Holman. She was on that quartet that finished 6th at Drake last year. Addie Drees on the lead leg for Waukee. Kiki Pingle leading off for Pella. She was on the team that was 4th in 3A a year ago. Matera leading off for Valley. Blake for Indianola. Sherrar for Ankeny. And Valley. Valley running well here with Rachel Sinclair. Ankeny countering with Ariana Madusi. It is Valley and Ankeny. And Pella battling back with Annika Pingle. Pella with the exchange. Peyton Malik, tonight's long jump champion, carrying the stick for Pella. And Pella takes the field to the backstretch. Roosevelt running well. We're getting a good carry here from Claire Schell. That is Pella out in front. And that is Pella out in front. Emily Voss will run the anchor for Pella. Des Moines Roosevelt with Ubadigo. It is Pella and Roosevelt. Waukee with Delaney Taylor. It is Pella, Roosevelt, and Waukee. Diana Slight making up a lot of ground, but she had a lot of ground to make up as well. And that is Pella in lane 5 with Emily Voss on the anchor. And they ran 1:46.62. 1:46.62, that moves them from number 4 to number 2 in Class 3A. 1:46.62 for Pella.